where we only talk like AEW and like affiliated women's wrestling. Okay, we keep this show in the realm of kayfabe and madness. Can't you tell? We have created quite a bit of lore here in Divaville. So if this is your first episode, because this is episode 35, you need to go to episode 1 of this playlist. Okay, and then you can catch up. Although do think I do need to do a new one last. I said that last time, so perhaps I do. Apologies, everybody, if you noticed the lack of episode last week. Full disclosure, my brain broke with everything. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think I need to even like put it. So I just had to like stop for a moment, but we are back. It's still broken but functional. We are medicated again in all the ways. And it's going to be a long one because we've got to catch up. So I hope you have cleared your schedule. You've already seen how long this video is, so you definitely have. And settle in because we're ready for episode 7 of Don't Call Me Diva. Beat. I really gotta do something about this chord situation. But anyway, happy birthday to the patron saint of DCMD, our queen, with the muscles and the torn ACL. I hope that's getting better. Layla Gray. Your girl did me the personal favor of dressing in all black with a striking red background and candles as a personal favor to our dear producer Shane. And blew out her candles in a cheeky Miss Gray style. You can catch that video on her Instagram. We here at Don't Call Me Diva wish you the happiest belated, we apologize, birthday wishes to our queen, and may you have many more birthdays to come where we will be on time this time. Just quickly, before we get into everything that's going on since we last spoke. Oh, hang on 1 second. Goodbye to Layla Gray. Forgot to put her back to where she came from. Just quickly, before we get into everything that has gone down since we last spoke, Bozilla, you're the giant one from Stardom. She is going to be out for an unknown amount of time after suffering a complete tear in her ACL. As is tradition with these injuries, surgery will be required. This is a real bad one, and it's like lightest form, so I cannot even imagine the pain of like complete tear. Ooh, hopefully she doesn't have the issue that our dear Miss Gray is currently having with her mobility. But come on, it's been her birthday. Of course her ACL's got to be moving better now so she can get her surgery and get back to the ring where she belongs. Because there are two more baddies in Top Flight. No, there are not two more baddies in Top Flight. I just got two factions confused in my mind. Moving on. We are going to be checking in on the shenanigans happening on ROH these last 2 weeks that we have missed. We are graced with the amazing presence of Trisha Dora, which is always great, with the infantry of STP, as they all are accompanying Shane Taylor to the ring because he is about to battle. I bring this up because I cannot express how much this team just gets me pumped up every time I see them. Not only is their music an absolute banger, it rocks so hard. I think I've like said that every time, but I just can't get that over enough. The guitar solo, have you ever like listened to it properly? The guitar solo is just like casually shredding in between the verses, and it's just like with this strong beat throughout. It's just like so fucking good. But the vibe and energy of the infantry and Shane Taylor when they come out to the ring, oh, it just gives me that like I love wrestling fucking good vibes, and I just love it. You can just feel it through the screen. I love them all. They're brilliant. They are all amazing wrestlers too, so it just like tops. And I really see like big things for Trishadora. And I just realized I don't mean that as a pun, but figuratively and literally. Big things are coming in her future. Absolutely love her. And we're going to talk about her later on. So I don't know why I get like associated with this when I listen to it. Um, I don't get associated. No, that's the wrong word. I don't know why it got associated with all this. Perhaps is what I was meant to say. But after listening to the song, the STP song, like 6 times in a row, I all of a sudden needed to listen to like Free the Flames, which was like what's the name? Athena's old name. Ember Moon's like song. And I had to listen to that like 6 or 7 times, and then this is how I get distracted and writing scripts. My ADHD just gets like associated with things, and it gets associated with music, and it's like, oh, I need to listen to it like over and over again. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that while I'm writing. And it's like, no, you must like pay attention to every single bit of it every single time. Oh, it can be a little bit exhausting. Moving on to the wrestling. We have the infantry back, and they are going to be battling out against MXM TV's Ty Valkyrie and Mansoor and the Forever Dreaming Men. MXMTV come out first. Taya is dressed for battle in green on black with sparkles all over. Her laundromatic black battle coat flows out behind her as they stomp their way to the ring. The infantry come out with their own brand of aura. As I have been saying, Trish is especially hyped during this one. She has her them crop on over her camel battle gear, and the three of them confidently make their way down to the ring. MXMTV, hug it up, and the infantry, like, huddle up. MXMTV, hug it up, and the infantry, huddle it up. And it looks like Trish and Taya shall be studying this match. They look it up, and it's Taya who gains control first. She sends Trish into the corner, cracks her with a back elbow and a forearm combo, then takes her down with a sliding lariat that makes Trish roll the book out of there. And she tags in Bravo. Taya almost gets taken out by Bravo, but her teammates warn Taya in time and she ducks the lariat. Taya then lays in a few stinging drops to Carly Bravo's chest and then almost twists his arm off. Mansoor dives in to hammer down on Bravo's arm and Taya tags out of the ring. Throughout, the menfolk battle, some shenanigans from the infantry do occur. MXMTV are definitely on a more like babyface vibe during this match. Taya has been getting madder and madder, because this is Taya, and by the time she and Trish get tagged back in, her rage is at like boiling point. Trish gets taken down though with a stiff lariat. Taya unleashes a battle cry, then pounds Adora into the corner. Eek. Trish reverses that whip, but then runs into the back elbow. Adora shakes that off, but then runs into the boot a second time. Adora just can't break through like Valkyrie's fury. Trish is helpless against a running Meteora as well that plows through the of her head and then into the turnbuckle. Taya pulls Trish into the middle of the ring for a good cover, but Adora can still kick out before 3. Trish takes a moment to catch her breath and then cracks the incoming Taya with some forearms. Taya replies with her own, but taking a moment to release a battle cry was ill timed as Trish powered up and an extra spicy one knocked Taya off of her feet. Battle cry. This is the problem. You stop the battle cry, and sometimes someone just cracks you in the head. Taya got to her feet, even more mad than before, if that is possible. And these exchanging heavy forearms. They both sidestep thrust kicks, but collide with twin lariats, and both wrestlers go down. They both crawl to their corners and make the tag. The menfolk then explode into action. A mystery woman ringside takes Matsuo's attention away from the match, and Bravo then nails the distracted man with a boot to the face. Mystery Lady is impressed, and Bravo seems quite taken with her. And more like in a way that he knows her. right? Like, he knew she was going to be there. The infantry win, and the menfolk get their hands raised in victory without Trishadora, which I just think is just plain rude, on the rest of behalf, of course, because, he's the one that's in charge of that kind of thing. Bravo gets out of the ring like pretty quickly and is making a very saucy beeline for this mysterious woman in blue. Miss Legs walks out to the back with the infantry with a very happy Carly Bravo. This mysterious woman, I found out, and but just, work with me like I'm a detective sleuth of amazingness. This mystery woman is Christian Reed, although we learn her like name later. She has a background in basketball, not that you guys would even like be surprised about that. She trained at Flatbacks Wrestling School, which you probably have heard of. She debuted only like 2 years ago. She's 6'3", and I'm excited to see how she fits in with the Shane Taylor Productions. I am wondering, is she going to be battling singles? Or is she like tagging with Carly Bravo? That's what I would like to see because, yeah, I'm more into gender. But like also, tagging with Trish could be great as well. We will find out more as we continue on, potentially. Directly after this, we get the match between Robin Renegade and the ROH champion Red Velvet. Robin, who usually wears black, is colorfully dressed in green and blue, sparkles everywhere with a flirty attitude. She blows us a kiss, and then Red Velvet's music hits. Red Velvet is covered in a pleasing pink this evening, with her new battle gear as a red is bursting from the champion's confidence. She shimmers her way down the entrance ramp and then performs her battle entrance power up, which she has down now, as a champion would. I have watched Velvet since her debut in AEW, and I didn't instantly become a fan, and I kind of blame that on Brandy Rose. But my love for Red Velvet has grown, and it's like been awesome to watch her grow and like get confident and more badass and like really, oh, she's so cool. So yeah, she's totally one of my like favorites now in AEW. This, oh yeah, ROH, like, she's the ROH television, and so they're like different, but it would be cool if we got to see Red Velvet on like AEW. Anyway, what do I know? Red Velvet completes her entrance in the ring and holds her custom red title out high. Red Velvet, there is not impressed. Red Velvet extends her hand for the handshake of honor, but Renegade slaps it out of the way. They circle each other and then engage in battle. Red Velvet gets control of Robin's head, but her attempts of anything further are countered by Robin's strength. Whew! Still being entwined by an arm, Robin grabs a handful of hair and slams Red Velvet back down to the mat. Red kip ups, and Robin rewards her by doing it again. Red Velvet engages core power once again and does another successful kip up. Renegade went for the hair pull one more time, which is not smart, and Red Velvet stopped all of that noise. She started twisting Renegade's arm, still controlling her arm. Red takes out Robin's leg, and Renegade slams down backwards. Velvet follows it up with a leg drop onto Robin's arm and then pretzels her arm around her leg in a very nasty looking submission. Robin shifts her weight and then breaks that submission by putting Velvet on, and Red's got to kick out. Robin regains dominance in this match, and Red finds it hard to execute any moves. When Red Velvet flings herself at Robin, Renegade catches her out of midair, and with Red Velvet cradled in her arms, Red sends Velvet over her head and landing real heavily on the ground with a very lovely fall-away slam. Red rolls under the ropes to the apron, trying to quickly recover as Renegade celebrates their genius. As a reminder, Robin Renegade is someone who I think shall be aligned with the CEO when she comes back. There is currently no word on Mercedes if she has any like belt defenses coming up. But it was her birthday, so happy birthday, Miss Monet. I was unaware that I shared so many wonderful wrestlers in my birthday month. There were like others, like Willow's birthday was also happy birthday. And there is someone else I'm forgetting, but we're not going to get into that because Shane has enough to cut out. So we're not getting into all that. But as I was saying, so yeah, I think Renegade has been perhaps maybe training with a certain CEO. She's a lot stronger. Renegade follows Red Velvet out onto the apron, and before Velvet can get her head straight, Robin gives her a neck breaker on the hardest part of the ring, and Velvet collapses down to the ground. But Robin Renegade does not follow and continue dealing damage to the champion. Instead, she stays in the ring, gloating with the crowd. Red Velvet climbs onto the apron and into the ring before the ref can get to that dastardly 10. But Robin is on her in an instant, and with Red Velvet hung over the middle rope, Renegade stomps down onto her back and drives Red's head into the mat. Robin goes for the pin, but does not secure the legs, and Red Velvet kicks out. Robin throws Red Velvet into the corner and then repeatedly stops her until the ref pulls her off. Stefan gives her a warning, and Robin gives Red Velvet some space for about 3 seconds. Robin Renegade brings more pain to the Telly Champions world and with vicious chops that send Red Velvet stumbling to another corner. Robin is feeling even more confident in herself now, and the fact that she has the champion in such a position gives more credibility to, her fight for the championship. Robin has, oh wait, this may be an eliminator. Oh, this is Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, carrying on. Robin hasn't engaged in any dastardly deeds during this match. She's just been stronger and stiffer. Robin powers up a big chop, but Velvet has been given enough time to gather her senses as she ducks said chop. Wanting to give Robin some payback, Velvet powers up her own chop, but this gives the more clearer wrestler plenty of time to focus and duck the incoming chop. Renegade then does what Red should have done and instantly slices a chop through the chest of Red Velvet. Red Velvet stumbles around the ring, holding her arms close to her very stinging chest. Renegade lines her up, and as she turns, Robin slams a double-handed chop into Velvet's chest, and she hits the mat. Renegade pins pins the top of her body and rams her forearm into Red's face. But it is more like a bully pin than like a penny pin, and Red Velvet kicks out of that. Renegade digs further into the baddie more and grabs a handful of Red's hair and pulls her to her feet. Red Velvet has had enough of all of this and breaks out of Robin's grip, following up with multiple shots to the midsection, but Renegade won't let Red Velvet get any more momentum, and she halts Red in her tracks as she runs for the ropes. Renegade hits Red Velvet up for a power move, but the experience of Red Velvet kicks in, and she twists Robin's grip, taking Robin down and a kind of tornado, and then pins her to the mat. Robin kicks out and gets straight to her feet and lost her control of the match, and it almost cost her the win. Robin starts to fight dirty now. When she grabs Red's hair, this time she twists it around her hand tightly, and drags her nails down the exposed back of Velvet. Renegade takes Red Velvet out with a gorgeous falcon arrow and then sits on the Tally Champ for the pin. At the last possible moment, Red Velvet kicks out. Robin Renegade does not accept this, and she pins her again, but gets the same result. Renegade roid rages out on Stefan, then livid at the count and backs him up into the corner. The ref stands his ground, and Robin has completely taken her eyes off of Red Velvet now. Red Velvet has lined up Red Velvet has lined up Red Velvet. No, she has lined up Robin Renegade. And she runs a clothesline right through it. Red double chops Renegade's chest until it burns, and then missiles her boot right through Renegade's head as she zooms off the rope, not the top rope. Red is activated and runs her knees through the back of Robin's head, and then the double knee guillotine. Robin is wobbly, can't see straight, but on her feet. The champion's power moves demolish her defenses. Red Velvet winds up the kitchen sink and cracks Renegade right in that jaw, and Robin is the ROH Telly Champion. World Telly Champion. Makes the cover to make it official. And Red Velvet gets the win over a very strong, in all ways, challenger. TK, I think we've got something there. I am very sad that their momentum as a tag team kind of went kafoof because of her sister and their tag partner being injured. But I'm glad that Robin Renegade is getting shots like this because she is improving a lot. Like I said, very strong. Ugh. Next. Okay, and Athena announced that ROH and Metroplex Wrestling will be combining forces. And as of this recording, I think is now going to be next week, I think. It got all like shimmity shammed because of the weather. A lot of things got shimmity shammed because of the weather, actually. The whole like collision, like the first collision that we're going to talk about, that all got shimmity shamed around with everything because of the weather. And yeah, Global Wars was a sufferer of that. But they're combining Athena's where did that come from? Athena's like indie combined promotion with like ROH is going to be awesome. So that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait until talking about that. But on the next episode of Honor Club, story Denali, fabulous red boots, dressed in all black. I see story. She is at ringside for the match that like the premier athletes, of course, lose. Even when the aftermatch gang beat down on the winners, Story stays out of it. Just mustn't have been in the mood that evening for some action. So he had absolutely no business being here, apart from mentioning said boots. Damn. Let's move on. Trish Adora and Christian Reed, or the Mystery Lady, and she's currently be called. Well, we have something in the future. She is currently, things get heated between her and Zeta Steel. Skyflight and the infantry want to destroy each other. They've been wanting to do that for quite a while. And there has to be some like intergender shenanigans coming along between these two. It just happens to, it just has to be. The crew need like one or two or three or four or whatever. They need some intergender stuff happening with them, and then they can all get into like the intergender wars. You know, I don't mean it that way. If the fun kind. That'd be awesome. But anyway, we have nothing to do with any of them until they do. Up next on our show, we are on if you're still here. Oh my goodness, get your shit together, woman. Up next, we are honored by the presence of our forever champ, the fallen goddess, the American Joshi, the minion overlord, the ROH world champion for, as of recording, 1,040, I think, 7 days, Athena. Who accompanies her minions in training, Billy Starks and Diamante. I'd hardly call like Billy Starks a minion in training now, would you? Surely she has like at least like graduated to like minion on restriction. Surely. Anyway, they are facing someone who we know very well, Rachel Ellering, and someone who we are getting to know, London Dior. Rachel and London come out first, and they are on high energy roll. London Dior has incredible battle gear. She's all in like pink and leopard print gear with like pink stars. Harley would love it. Rachel Ellering is athletic chic in black, green, and blue. Billy Starks and Diamante come out with Athena, who is dressed in double denim but makes it look good. She gives both Billy and Diamante the game plan as they walk down the ramp to the ring. Billy is doing moi the personal favor of wearing her all black battle gear with straps of the wizard, and Diamante is rocking her black and silver battle gear. Starks and Diamante split off to enter the ring, but Athena yoinks them both and pulls them in close for some final words of wisdom, and then she leaves it into it. They get into the ring and then battle pose on the ropes. Starks and Diamante make a great looking tag team, don't you think? I think they have oodles of potential. I really do. They're going to be destructive. Diamante, although in the war, fake war, you know, what we're thinking, in the war of potential of Starks to on Athena against Athena, challenging Athena, where would Diamante fit in all that? That would be interesting. Rachel, well, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. Diamante tells Billy that she shall be starting off this battle. She will be facing Rachel, and they pull off a very reasonably honorable handshake. Diamante's face is stern, but Ellering will not be intimidated. She's been here many times before and has a rather amused expression on her face. Diamante tries to take Ellering down quickly with a cheeky little roll up, but Ellering easily powers out the pin, and Diamante runs straight into a shoulder tackle and slams down onto the mat. Rachel overpowers Diamante with ease and missiles right through the side of her face with a dropkick, but Diamante will not be pinned so quickly. Rachel Ellering grabs Diamante before she can retaliate and hoists her back up onto her shoulders. Diamante engages wriggle mode and slides down Ellering's back. She rolls her up into a pin, but this is countered when Rachel shifts her weight and turns the pin on Diamante. They rock back and forth with this a few times until Ellering kicks out completely. Diamante knees her in the midsection and then drags Ellering with her to tag in Billy. No double team. Instead, Billy socks Rachel in the midsection again and then squeezes her head while screaming maniacally with her in a side headlock. With some fancy footwork and the crowd very strongly behind her, Rachel Ellering Billy, and now is Starks' arm that is getting twisted and squeezed. Billy Starks reaches desperately for the ropes, but one tug from Ellering sends a shock of pain down Billy's arm, and the second one just brings her down to her knees. Fed up with all of that, Billy stomps down on Ellering's foot and she breaks free. Smart. Billy runs off the ropes for momentum, but Ellering will join her, trying to take Billy out with her own momentum. Mid-zoom, Billy sees this new development and has to think of a new plan very quickly, for she knows that if they collide in any sort of way at this speed, Billy's skeleton will exit her body. Starks, no relation, ducks and dodges Ellering and switches up her direction. Billy engages in extra speedy mode, and this confuddles Ellering just enough for Billy to slip in and spin Rachel around like a prayer wheel, and with Ellering dizzy on her feet, Billy slides in and takes her out. This time they go for the brutal double team on Ellering, which they should have done before. Diamante holds her in place and hammers down forearms onto Rachel's shoulders. Billy almost takes them both out with a dropkick, but manages to stop herself just in time. She waits patiently for Diamante to be done and then drop kicks Ellering in the face. Billy gets out of the ring and Diamante starts playing around with Ellering, not taking her seriously at all. Ellering makes her pay for that and chops Diamante backwards until she falls down from the entire impact. This makes something kick in for Diamante, and when she comes back at Ellering, Diamante gets a kick in the stomach, and she overpowers Rachel. Diamante sends Rachel backwards into her own corner and tags in Billy again. They double up on Ellering, smartly, with Diamante landing the final blow with a nasty drop kick. Billy goes for the cover, but Ellering still kicks out. This makes Billy super mad, and she just takes it down the ref. She even gives London a piece of her mind, who hasn't even had a chance to get into this fight yet. Billy gets 2 points taken from her for spitting. That is now on her official record. I have already, recorded that. That's been recently started. She tries to deal some damage to Ellering while she is still under the effects of the double team, but Rachel Ellering has recovered enough to be able to block Billy's attempt, and Billy gives up. She tags in Diamante, so they have some more double team fun times. They both manage to pull off what Billy alone could not, but Ellering runs back off the ropes with fury and plows through their double clothesline twice, and then takes them both out with a double flying lariat of her own. London Dior is stretching out with all of her length, so Ellering can make the tag, and she finally gets into the match. London Dior London Dior runs straight through Billy, who was coming at her with a wound up forearm. Dior lays Billy out and then goes straight for Diamante. She connects with a stiff elbow and then turns her attention back onto Billy. London Dior avoids the first kick from Billy, but her second kick lands perfectly on the side of London's head. Billy climbs to the top rope and Diamante slaps that tush to make the tag. At the same time, London hits the rope and Billy Starks comes tumbling down. She puts herself right in front of Diamante, though, and gets nailed with a stiff shot to the ribs. Diamante gets into the ring and gives London a devastating spine buster. Billy climbs the ropes again, and this time she successfully lands the senton atomico on Dior. She continues with her momentum and tope suicidas through the ropes and takes out Ellering. Back in the ring, Diamante is doing some nasty shit to fucking London Dior's ankle, and she taps out whilst screaming in pain. It's a really bad way to find out that Diamante is just tagged in. Diamante sadistically keeps the lock on a little bit longer than she should, but then she finally releases her. They celebrate in the ring while Diamante's music blasts out in the arena. Moving on over to Orlando, Florida. They were blessed with a damn fine episode of Bring the Boom, Shaking Thy Boobs. It's dynamite. That giant red-faced yelling fan from like way back in the black and gold, like NXT days, is here. I keep forgetting he's from Orlando every time. He is always ringside. He's like a giant man. He is still yelling excessively. How he has the blood pressure to do it, I do not know. He's always red as a beetroot when he's yelling. He really annoys me. You know how sometimes you just can't help but just being annoyed by like some fans you always see on television. Yeah, he's the one for me. I think I may have like spoken about this way back in like episode with books before the books and big show was even a thought. But this fan in particular, this, guy who you always used to see, got the glasses. Is he always in blue? He's always in like some sort of like, looks like a football thing or something with like the stripes. Always seems like he's in blue. He's a giant fan anyway, was always at like the NXT, like black and gold chip. Has like been at like AEW stuff like heaps of times, like in like, when they go to Orlando and like some Daily's Place stuff and all that kind of shit. This fan was, yeah, like I say, want to say was also at the first like show they ever did at Daly's Place. But I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, he was in the front row like he always is. And he's getting up in like Kip Sabian's business because like he's always getting up in the business of the heels, like real hard. Like this is what I'm saying. I don't understand how he has the vein capacity to keep this going. But anyway, he's always going real hard at the fucking heels and shit. And so he was getting all up in Sir Sabian's business, like hardcore. Kip is on like the outside and he like stands directly in front of the fan, right? This guy is turning like redder and redder from like forehead to neck, continuously yelling in Kip's face, like real close. Like obviously like Kip's like just like standing there. I can't remember if he's saying something, but he probably is. And the fan is like looks like fucking spit and everything is coming out. Like he'd be losing 2 points all over the place. Um, I just remember this one moment that like Kip just doesn't say a damn thing. He just looks at him. He's like this close, the fam. Kip just like grabs both sides of his face and just pulls him in and plants like a big like mwah. No more yelling. All the yelling just stopped. And I don't condone. Don't go around kissing people without consent. But you also cannot expect to have immunity from retaliation when you were literally screaming in someone's face. I didn't expect Kip to do that. He just grabbed him. Anyway, that goes back. We are sliding into Dynamite in Florida as Moxley and his band of merry men stand strategically placed in the back hallway, which is always based in red light. Apparently, Mox is activated enough and doth not require Marina Shafir's slaps this evening. It's a trio street fight that Marina is not officially in, but if she does, no one can do anything about it, except perhaps the Murder Hawk, of course. Marina had to pick a fight with like the biggest guy in this match because it's Marina. He tries to like intimidate Marina Shafir, but Marina Shafir just like stares him down. She is not intimidated by him at all. Deeper into this match, the Murder Hawk decides it's time to bring Table into the situation. He's being beating down on Mox, and now he just wants to shake things up. Sidebar. Orlando, I do want to give you props. You did not blow your "we want tables" load being too early. And it was very much appreciated. Thank you very much. In fact, I don't remember you saying it once. And then the table just appeared. Isn't it nice that way? Moving on. Marina has seen enough of all of this and she gets into the ring, standing strong and still. She waits for the Middle Hawk to turn around. When he does, he stops completely in his tracks and an amused smile spreads across his face. The Middle Hawk grabs Marina by the throat and lifts her up for a choke slam. But Marina judokus the fuck out of the Murder Hawk's arm and glomps on a gorgeous triangle armbar looking thing. And she's just literally hanging off of the murder fucker's using sweet, beautiful gravity to put extra pressure on his shoulder joint. The crowd explodes. Crazy little baby face death riders, you. She transitions to the Murder Hawk's ankle and keeps him in place for Moxley to take him out with a lovely cutter. Marina Shafir then loses 2 points for spitting. Deeper into the match, Marina comes to the aid of her team again, this time with the China Special to Hechicero's balls on the rampway. After the match, in which the Death Riders were successful, Marina shows her diversity by expertly holding the microphone for Moxley as they gather around the campfire that is Don Callis's head. We move on to a awesome promo from the fabulous Triangle of Madness, who are in some way connected to Marina Shafir in some ways. Tekla will be getting her match with the world champion next week, aka in a little bit. While Julia calls out Willow for the TBS championship. I am stoked. Finally, like Julia Hart will get her rematch, but I kind of didn't expect it at the same time. I expected it like maybe a little bit more. Anyway, Blue confirms DCMD's predictions that this year is the year for Sin, and Tekla loses 2 points for spitting. But we gotta keep that one between us, okay? Like we're not telling you about that. Like, okay? Like we're gonna be fair, but we're gonna be quiet, okay? Later on in the episode, we get that, and I have been looking forward to it. Mega Band, Megan Bain, Penelope Ford versus the Timeless Love Bombs. That epic music of Megan Baines hits the of Mega Bads. It's not just Mega Baines now. Of Mega Baines hit the arena, and the amazing Penelope Ford, crowned and in her blue and white gear, was confidently out to the entrance. Confident. Moving on. Slowly yet purposefully, behind her out walks Megan Bain in all of her powerful, statuesque glory. Sidebar. She had like a charity GCW match with like Joey Janela, and like they did their entrance, and like he was Penelope Ford, and like it was hilarious. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. They join together on the entrance ramp and complete their battle entrance feats as fire erupts on either side of them. They make their way down the ramp to the ring as Excalibur tells us about how awesome and so Ford is in regards to her healing. I mean, I'm telling. They both get into the ring and complete their battle entrance. They have taken away phase three. But it doesn't seem to affect their power bonus, so I'll let. Next is the fantastically wonderful tag team. I'm going some places with this accent of fucking wonders over here. Next is the fantastically wonderful tag team of the Timeless Films, accompanied by Luther. They perform their battle dance of power, which is an absolute delight, and I really need to learn that. They are both draped in pink satin, Mina in black with red boots and gloves, and Tony in silver. They disrobe and run down to the ring. Bane and Ford have been standing in the ring, watching all this go down, and as soon as the Love Bombs get into that ring, they pounce. Megan takes on Tony, and Penelope collides with Mina. Mega Bad set up the Love Bombs in the opposite corner. After pummeling them into place, they exchange a look, and they simultaneously whip Tony and Mina into each other. Except it doesn't go down as planned. The Love Bombs collide, but in dance, not in violence, and swing around and take out Mega Bad with some clotheslines. Mina helps Penelope get out of the ring and joins Timeless, who is currently tenderizing the Megasis. They double team on Megan Bain in the middle of the ring by running a knee right through her face and then a kick right to her chest. The Love Bombs combine and land an assisted tornado on Megan, and Mina goes for the pin. She has to capitalize on this very quickly, but she could only manage to hold Bane's one shoulder down, and Bane easily kicked out one. The Love Bombs kick into some very smart wrestling. With a quick tag into Tony, they go back to double teaming on Bane. Mina slides in and takes out Bane's legs. Tony drop kicks the side of Bane's head, and then she's maneuvered by Shirakawa into the perfect position for his springboard tornado, and then quickly gets out of the way for Tony Storm then to take the cover. Storm gets a good pin on Megan, but Bane is still able to power out before the three. Bane needs a bit of time this time with the ropes to help her get to her feet. But the Love Bombs are in sync and know that to take the Megasis down for three, they gotta work together as much as possible. Storm and Shirakawa try to whip Bane into the ropes, but she digs in her heels. Penelope, check. She's up and on the apron. ready to take the tag when needed. Tony and Mina give a double boot to the midsection of Bane, and this time their whip is a successful one. Bane comes flying off the ropes and attempts to run a double clothesline through the timeless love bombs. But Mina is the only one that gets taken out. Storm manages to duck. Mina stops in her tracks and turns to face Tony Storm, who is running Megan. Not Mina. Megan is well. I mean, Mina is well stopped in her tracks. Megan also has stopped in her tracks, turns to face Tony Storm, who is running back at her and flying at her for the crossbody. Instead, though, she gets crossbody yoinked by the Megasis. As the crowd audibly gasps, Bane adjusts her footing and gives herself some more space. Megan plants her feet and sends Storm flying over her head with the best fall-away slam in the business. At the moment, Tony Storm just keeps rolling out of the ring. Fair, love, fair. Megan turns to look at Mina Shitakawa, who is still in the ring with a menacing expression. Not Mina, Megan. Bane easily picks up Mina and sends her flying over the top rope. And Tony Storm, who is on the outside, as we discussed. She only had a moment to prepare herself with the flying Mina. Shirakawa Airways missed its connection, and Mina ended up being caught by the tips of Tony's hair and literally nothing else. Instantly, Tony Storm forms a protective shield around Mina, and they work quickly to massage out the damage because Mina she just hit the ground. Nothing else. Inside the ring, Megan is having a great time. She taunts the crowd who dare to boo her, and Penelope Ford gets in on this action too. The timeless love bombs are on their feet, but they don't look good. And even though they are helping each other to their feet, they are still hunched over from the pain. Honestly, they should have stayed on the ground because within seconds, Megan Bane has Penelope up on her shoulders, ready to launch. The forward missile lands perfectly on her targets, and Penelope jumps up to her feet. Another successful launch for Megabad. They celebrate together in a very wholesome way as the crowd continues to be very disrespectful. Crashed out on the ground, Megabad are not going to allow the love bombs to get any sort of recovery time. Penelope takes Tony Storm and slams her into the steel barricade. Megan Bane grabs Mina by the hair and throws her into the more solid LED barricade. The amazing Penelope Ford gives a horrid fan, not that one, some well-deserved sass, and then takes it out on Storm by using her boot to merge Tony's skull in with the fence. On the other side, Mina is in her own world of pain. Bane rolls Mina into the ring as Penelope runs Tony through the most dangerous barricade, which we all know is the one that's in front of the bell in the dock, Healing Hand Sanders. In the ring, Megan notices Mina has taken something out of her hair and snatches it out of Shirakawa's hand. We hear a sickening thud and see that Penelope has sent the former two-time world champion knee first into the steel steps. She hops up onto the apron, very proud of herself. Well done. Well done. Don't tell the champ. Don't. It looks like the object in Mina's hand was a bud from the flowers delivered to her ringside. I hope it's an edible flower because Bane forces it into Mina's mouth and then short arm lariat stuff. Luke, out of Shirakawa. Megan tags in Penelope, and now it's Mega Band's time. Why do I keep calling them Mega Band? Mega Bad. Mega Bad. Come on. It's now Megabad's time to explode in the ring. Bane plants Mina in the corner and Ford drives her springboard back elbow right through her. Ford kindly yells at the ref to get out of the way and she sprints to the ropes. Megan runs at Mina and explodes her with a body splash. As soon as Bane is out of the way, Penelope's boot comes out of nowhere and clocks Mina's jaw. A Bane slam Shirakawa. A Bane slams Shirakawa on the mat and then forms a platform for Penelope to leap off of. Ford lands the perfect moonsault press and smushes Mina up for a great pin. Any other mere mortal would be done here, but Mina is Joshi. And Joshi are fucking tough. Shirakawa kicks out very strongly at two. A very miffed Ford grabs Mina by the hair and grips her wrist. As Tony Storm crawls her way to the ring, Penelope boots Mina in the face while still holding onto her wrist. Penelope brings Shirakawa over to her corner and tags in Bane. As soon as Bane gets in the ring, she drives her shoulder repeatedly into Mina's midsection, expelling the air out of Shirakawa. Bane Bane slams Mina into the mat with a vertical suplex, but the cover afterwards was merely for show. The Megasis grabs Mina by the hair and brings Shirakawa with her to tag in Penelope. Not letting go of Mina, Megan clubbers down on her back. Penelope bounces off the ropes and smashes the side of Mina's face with a thrust kick. Penelope drops to the ground behind Mina, and as Bane kicks Mina with a thrust kick of her own, Penelope takes Mina down for a cheeky type roll up, but it was not successful. Ford rams Mina's face into the top of turnbuckle and tags in Bane. Penelope sends Shirakawa into the ropes and lures her into a matrix turned head scissors, and Ford has Mina's head trapped. The Megasis plows her boot through Mina Shirakawa, but takes a relaxed approach to the pin again, and Mina gets her shoulders up. She rolls to her side, clutching at her face still though. Tony is so livid. She's almost like halfway through the ropes, but she is smarter than the average wrestler in her situation. And she knows that if she did get into the ring now, that would only lead to more dastardly deeds behind the ref's back. Instead, Tony calls bitch. Oh, dun dun dun. Not that. Instead, Tony calls Bane a stupid cow and assures her that she shall soon feel these hands. Mina ends up in the exact opposite corner of where she wants to be and gets a stiff chop to the chest from Bane. Kind of a retaliation. Ford gives Shirakawa some shit. Bane walks up on Tony, who makes her feelings for Bane very clear again. And by the time Megan runs in on Mina, she's had enough time to recover enough to get to her feet, and she boots Bane backwards. Not forgetting Ford. Mina cracks her in the jaw with a back fist, and Penelope drops down to the floor. Shirakawa ninja rolls under Bane's lariat, but her momentum stops. Short. Tony Storm's outstretched hand. Megan pounces quickly and whips Mina over her head with a dead-weighted release suplex of absolute destruction. Mina Shirakawa rolls under the ropes and recovers to her feet on the apron. Megan Bane is fueling off the crowd, and it doesn't. Oh, and she has not noticed that Mina is in a quick recovery mode. Shirakawa springs up onto the ropes and rocks Bane's head with a stepping gamengiri. Megan staggers and Shirakawa battle cries to the crowd for an extra boost in power. Bane is still on her feet, but not for long. Mina flies through her with a shotgun dropkick off the top rope. I can tell where I'm writing this with a cat on me because the spelling in here, it's something. Mina and Bane both crawl to their corners in agony. They stretch out their hands to their partners. Ford gets the tag from Bane and gets into the ring. She runs over to try and cut Tony Storm off, but instead she runs into a shotgun dropkick from Storm, followed by another as soon as Penelope even manages to get to her feet. A hairmare from Tony brings Ford painfully down to the mat, and Storm doesn't stop at one. She gives Penelope like 3 hairmares and then finishes it off with a strong thrust kick to the chest of a very wobbly Ford. The extremely rude crowd cheer with joy at this and celebrate with Tony Storm. Tony Truman suplexes Penelope into the corner, and then an unsuspecting Ford positions herself right in harm's way. Storm takes out the Megasis and tunes up the band for the hip attack. Tony connects with a brutally beautiful hip attack and tags in Mina, who has jumped to life and is climbing the ropes. We're just going with that now. Megan Bane sees all of this going down and is having none of it. She gets into the ring, pushes Tony from behind, and sends her into Shirakawa, who then just tumbles off those ropes again. Penelope has rolled under the ropes to the perceived safety of the apron. And soon Megan joins her, unintentionally, of course, but Timeless has pulled down the top rope, and now Megabad are both together, taking this perfectly, timed opportunity to check in for some reason. Ooh, where have I gone? Turns out, like I thought, it was not the perfect time to have a little catch up. And they both get sent catapulting to the floor by twin hip attacks from the Timeless Love Bombs. Megabad, despite this tumble though, both get to their feet relatively quickly, but this gets taken from them again as Mina comes flying from the heavens and takes them both out with a very lovely crossbody splash. Mina takes the out of it Penelope forward and rolls her into the ring. Tony positions her groggy body for Mina, who flies up the top rope and takes Penelope down with a sling blade. Mina goes for the cover, but Penelope kicks out as Bane breaks it up as well, and this causes Storm to get back into the ring. She wants a chunk of Bane's flesh, but a clear-headed Megasis grabs her by the head and sends her straight back out of the ring. Shirakawa gets good reach on the roundhouse kick, but it doesn't bring Bane down. Mina ducks the lariat, but it was a ruse. Bait. Penelope is positioned perfectly behind to knee Mina in the back as she bounces back off the ropes. A stumbling Mina gets taken off of her feet with a brutal rocket kick by Bane. Megan calls on Mina to get to her feet, which is a phrase that no disoriented wrestler can ignore, then calls upon Ford to leap into her arms. Penelope leaps and Bane flings her at Mina, and Ford connects with a toss cutter. We need a better name for that, please. Toss cutter. We definitely need a better name for that. Penelope goes, we're not even going to get even sideways distracted on that. We're putting a stop to that right now. Penelope goes for the pin on Mina, but Storm makes it in time to break up the pin before 3. Megabad bash Tony Storm back and forth between them until Mina's rolling elbow strike takes out Ford, and she puts a stop to all of that. Storm kidnaps Bane's head and plows it into the mat with a very gorgeous DDT. With the dance of violence continuing, Penelope is up and she catches Tony's head with a matrix cutter, which cracks Tony's skull, and now she is the one rolling out of the ring. Penelope gets to her feet and unleashes a battle cry from the depths, but doesn't notice Mina back in the ring, and Shirakawa clubbers Ford with a stiff spinning back fist. Mina grabs Ford's legs and winds up a power shimmy. That little moment, which she usually gets away with, was her undoing this time, and before Mina can lock in the figure 4, Bane comes flying in and takes her out with a decapitator. Bane sees Tony down, scrambles to get Mina up onto her shoulders quickly, and signals to Bane, not the other Bane, signals to Ford for the Doomsday device, which I also think we need a new name of, please. As Megan drops her backwards, and no, we don't go there, which I think they should, I think they should rename that. Bow down. How many times can one woman say, oh, yeah, in one, in one minute? Fuck me. Oh, we're gonna go back. Bane. No, we don't just go back like that. We have a moment. You beat a stupid woman. Bane sees Tony down and scrambles to get Mina up onto his shoulders quickly and signals to Bane. No, I did it again. Signals to Ford for the Doomsday device, which I personally think they should rename as Bow Down, because like Penelope Ford leaps off the top ropes, gives Mina like a flying lariat, and Megan Bane drops her backwards with the electric chair. And like it just, kind of it's backwards, I know, but it does still kind of make me think of like, making people bow down, because I think a reverse one of those was just too dangerous. I think maybe it's less dangerous. I don't know. But that's what I think. That's just my opinion. It's a very devastating move anyway. And Megaban get the win. I love the original tag. Well, not That probably wasn't the original tape. Didn't they make that one up? I think they made that one. I don't know. They used to do it real rough though. Woo! No one wanted to take it. Anyway, moving on. But out of the shadows, my microphone just attacked me. It's saying, "Move on, woman. We don't have all day." But out of the shadows comes a wild Marina Shafir who vaults the barricade and glumps onto Tony Storm before she can try and get the save in the ring. Tony Storm has no idea what hits her before, being smothered by the mother's milk and ragdolled around. Megabad celebrates in the ring as Marina stares directly into the camera. Once she releases, Tony Shafir gets into the ring to join Bane and Ford. They celebrate together and taunt the crowd, and it's just basically fabulous. So it looks like, yeah, they're all together for wrestling and Dastardly Deed shenanigans. Fabulous. And I think that that is a fabulous way to end Dynamite. And a fabulous way to open our collision is with our world champion, Chris Statlander, facing off against one of my favorite new faces hanging around AEW. Oh, TK, come on. Make this woman all elite, all right? Our Dawn! I am a massive fan of Dawn. I love her look. I mean, who couldn't? Her style, the way she wrestles, and her attitude. She makes me care about the grizzled young veterans. So there's something. She molds in like so well with those two. And their intergender trios match on ROH was real awesome. We talked about that match in episode 31 of this show. Isla's gear is phenomenal. It's everything I love about battle gear. We got the spikes, the straps, corseting, fishnets in black and red, covered in sparkles, topped off with an exceptional battle jacket in black and silver. Respectfully, whoo, the White Witch makes her way down to the ring with the grizzled young veterans beside her. They stop, have a little pep talk, and then leave Dawn to battle with the world champion on her own. Isla skips her battle ass into the ring and battle poses on the ropes. Holy shit! Did any of you guys notice that, like, Justin Roberts is very blue this evening? Like, super blue. It just like didn't even like stand out that much until like there was a shot of Isla Dawn getting into the ring and it's just Justin blue, the bluest man in all the world. Isla completes her battle entrance in the middle of the ring and in the music of our cosmic killer, the world champion Chris Statlander hits. Oh, I'm dying of the real thirst in the real land of the real. Chris Statlander comes out in her like gray and black battle gear and her very cool long sheer splitted hooded gray blank jackety type thing. Even Isla is impressed by the world champion. I mean, to be fair, who wouldn't be? This is going to be a very fun, a very respectful, and very hard-hitting battle, and I am here for it. Chris completes her battle entrance, disrobes, gives the world champion title a big smooch, and then hands it over to the ref. Stat and Dawn lock up straight away, but Isla gets forced backwards into the corner and Stat pins her down. Knowing how to get out of an overpowering situation, ooh, she manages to break out of Chris's grip and Isla chops the world champion in the neck, making her stumble backwards. Isla gets some space, but before she can even contemplate recovery, Stat explodes with a barrage of stiff and very quick elbows and forearms all over Isla Dawn's body. Isla can do nothing but then just like cover up and just wait for the ref to do something. When she finally intervenes and gets Chris off Dawn, the ref, the damage is already done. 'Twas quite the overreaction, in my opinion, from the world champion. But you know, we'll move on. Isla Dawn is holding onto her jaw though, as Chris runs back in to deal more damage. But Dawn gets her boot up in time to keep her away, and Stat runs right into it. Isla attempts a drop kick, but Stat catches her legs and sends her catapulting into the turnbuckles face first. Now, from what I have learned, especially in writing this match, don't do that, people. Don't do that early on in the match. Actually, don't do that in any part of the match now against the world champion. If you're gonna go like give her a freaking like a shotgun drop kick like that, she's gonna catch your feet and you're gonna get catapulted into something. You just better hope that it's the top turnbuckle because it gets worse. Anyway, PSA over. Stat runs at Dawn and Isla is ready. She uses her strength and Stat's momentum to lift Chris's head up. Oh, no, lift the entire of Chris up and over the top rope. Isla winds up a knee and then cracks Stat in the side of her head. Our world champion then just tumbles to the floor, showing how incredibly tough Isla Dawn is. Chris uses the side of the ring to steady herself, but Isla is not interested in giving her any time to recover and runs along that apron and kicks her right in the face. Isla Dawn jumps down and tosses the world champion back into the ring. Dawn gets the dead weight of the world champion up and over her head with a very strong suplex and then goes for the pin. It's a good pin, but it is too early in the match for Chris Statlander to be that gassed out, and she kicks out at 2. Both wrestlers get to their feet, but Isla gets the stiff kick in the leg. Oh, gets the stiff kick into the leg of the world champion and then works on chopping her leg down with stiff kicks. Dawn finishes it off with an uppercut to the jaw of Stat that Chris absorbs and then returns said kindness with a very heavy shot to the chest of Isla Dawn. Chris goes to the ropes for momentum but runs herself right into the high kick from Dawn, and that stops all of that. Isla glomps onto Stat and slams her into the mat again, this time with the side door suplex. Isla squishes up the world champion again, but misses a shoulder, and Chris uses that shoulder to hit her whole body out of the pin. Dawn does not take this very well. She unleashes a scream and gives herself some slight casual self-harm. Dawn grabs the arm of the world champion and hits her up over the top, onto the top rope. Isla plants her there, with a forearm, but that will not be enough. And Isla climbs but that was not enough, and Isla climbs the ropes. Stat beats her back with multiple forearms. As Isla climbs the ropes, Stat beats her down with multiple forearms, and Isla crashes back down to the mat. God damn, what's those things called? Commas. Commas. Fuck my life. Chris wastes no time in getting her balance on the top rope and missiles herself through Isla Dawn with a dropkick. This one works. Stat acts quickly though and scoops Isla Dawn up in a fisherman's drop. That did not work. Why did I say it worked? I lied completely. Because she gets scooped up and a fisherman's driver leans forward and pulls her legs in for the pin. Isla kicks out and Chris is not impressed. She yoinks Dawn's head before she can get to her feet and twists her upside down for Saturday Night Fever. Dawn's head is driven through the mat and Chris goes and covers her body. There is no way, unfortunately, that Dawn is kicking out of that, and Chris Statlander gets her 6th singles win as Dumpy. Stat holds her title very high in victory over Dawn, who still hasn't managed to recover from that devastating ending. But who is this? Wild Tekla has, dressed in a giant, Statlander t-shirt, appears on the Titantron from backstage. Full of sarcastic sass, Tekla takes off that t-shirt, loses 2 points by spitting, but gets them back because she's badass. And it was only a t-shirt. She didn't actually spit at the person, and I will not be explaining further. Speaking of the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart's music hits the arena, and Naru hits the floor. He can't believe it. She can't believe it. Speaking of the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart's music hits the arena, and absolutely nothing against the Sisters of Sin, but I have missed her music and her entrance and the whole thing. Julia, in her black inline gear, she also has her demonically spiked battle jacket on and her hat of spells. She is here finally to get her TBS championship title rematch. As she sings her song of power, Julia Hart walks slowly down the ramp to the ring until she stops at that very specific spot. Julia Hart raises her arms and fire erupts behind her. Julia Hart continues down to the ring and positions herself on the ropes where Hart and her rock hard abs complete their battle entrance of awesomeness. Instantly, though, the mood shifts, and as soon as the crowd hears the opening beats of Willow's music, they get to their feet and cheer for the hero of the locker room, one half of the tag team champions and TBS champion herself. Willow comes out to the ramp, clapping to the beat with a smile on her beautiful face, with a da 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 da. Willow makes her way to the ring, gives it a champion's lap, and then completes her entrance with the guns and the ropes. She hands the title to the ref, who holds it up for us all to see, and we start the match. The two wrestlers circle each other until Julia pounces. She twists Willow around and just mushes her in the face with her hand, repeatedly though, yelling at her that the TBS title is hers, manifesting from word go. Willow, rightfully though, doesn't take kindly to being smushed in the face, and as Julia comes back at her off the ropes, Willow shoulder barges Hart, who then slams down to the mat. Willow and Julia both snap into action. Julia ducks the lariat, blocks the hip toss attempt, and then tries to twist Willow's head off. Willow nopes that, swings the lariat that Julia ducks, but she can also do nothing about the shoulder tackle, and Julia finally goes down. Our double champ stops to pose in all of her cuteness, then yoinks Julia up off the mat. Julia wriggles out of her grasp and then attempts to take her up, but Willow plants her feet so Julia cannot get her down. Hart does manage to get the hero of the locker room down when she then locks her legs around Willow and then brings her down with a crucifix pin, which Willow rolls out of by shifting her weight, and now it's Julia Hart who is in the pin after Willow takes her down with a beautiful fisherman's suplex. Willow holds her down in a tight bridge, but Julia can still kick out before 3. See, Julia has like very, very high strength damage absorbing, levels, right? She's also like in herself very like strong, like would like pick out, kick out and stuff. But you can only do so much when you have such a strength divide as we do have with Julia and Willow. But I digress. Willow takes a moment to reflect and then gets to her feet with the biggest smile on her face. A genuine smile, not a psycho smile. And then she pulls in the power from the cheering fans. Julia is leaned up in the corner and Willow keeps her there. Imagine that, Willow takes her there. Willow keeps her there with repeated, very heavy forearms. Willow pulls her out of the corner and then winds up a final forearm, but Julia Hart nopes out of all that with a double chop to the throat of Willow. Julia grabs Willow's hand, chops her hard, and then climbs the ropes. Hart walks the top rope and then glumps on the powerful Hurricane Runner that sends Willow flying across the ring. Hart acts quickly, but she runs right into a back elbow. Willow climbs to the middle rope, shotgun drop kicks the curse right out of Julia Hart. Out of blue comes Sky Blue, who is up on the apron quicker than sound, and she starts yelling at Willow right at the perfect time. Sky is very kindly doing me the favor of dressing in all black, but we can't get into all that right now because Harley Cameron is here. She sprints down to the ring and she's cracking Blue into the jaw. I eats the shot, and then instantly these two just lock up and they're rolling out to the back. Back in the ring, Julia is down and she is in the corner of the ring. Willow lines her up and runs at her for a cannonball, but instead of crushing Julia Hart, Willow crushes herself into the turnbuckles. Julia pulls Willow's head through the ropes, twists her around, and gives her a rope-assisted neck breaker. Julia Hart tells us again that the title is hers. Hers. Well, she says it's mine, but it says, bleh, I've lost myself again. Why did I lose myself again? I know, because I just looked right at the camera and then my brain went, boo. Why? Why do you do that, brain? Keep on task. All right, we're going back to the Julia Hart is telling us stuff. Yes. Julia Hart tells us the title is mine. Hers, not mine. And rolls Willow up for the pin, but cannot keep the TBS champion down. Julia wastes no time in making her pay for that kick out, and she mounts the hero of the locker room and slams her head back into the mat. She gives Willow a few heavy hands and then brings her back to her feet. So Hart can then drive Willow's head into the mat with a very gorgeous beat DDT. Julia tries for the pin again, fairly, but Willow pushes her off at 3. Julia gets to her feet and gets a menacing look in her eyes when she sees Willow crawling to the ropes. Julia helps her out and then chokes her out. Hart turns it into a stretch, but Willow fights out of it. She gets quickly taken back down to the ground by the very ruthless Julia Hart. She pins Willow again, but the TBS champion kicks out to the absolute annoyance of Julia Hart. And then she goes back to choking Willow. The crowd are solidly behind Willow, which is highly rude. But the hero of the locker room gets to her feet. Hart glomps onto Willow's back, but this turns out to be a very bad idea as Willow runs backwards and she goes smooshing into the corner. As Willow runs in to deal more damage, she is again met with nothing but turnbuckle as Julia's quickness has gotten her out of it again. Julia lays in forearms to Willow's chest, kicks her down, and then stomps Willow mercilessly into the corner. She must obey the 3 count or gets wrists leg getting disqualified. And Willow takes disadvantage to give Julia a stiff forearm into the midsection. I thought paying attention completely would help me, but it's not. Look at that. Julia fights through and absorbs the blows from the double world champion and stays in control. Hart pulls her down and into a beautiful time package, but cannot keep Willow down for that 3. Julia keeps the lock on around Willow's neck and squeezes tight. Willow is trying to get to her feet, but with Hart cutting off her airwaves, she's finding it very difficult. This is a very good way to counter the strength of your opponent. Willow starts to work on getting out of this and gives Hart a few stiff shots to the kidneys that work very well at allowing her to get to her feet. But when she's on them, Julia Hart pushes her back into the corner turnbuckle, hammers forearms through Willow's chest and just stops her momentum. Julia Hart continues to use the corner of the ring to help damage Willow. She slams a forearm through her and then runs an elbow straight through Nightingale again. Julia drags Willow into the middle of the ring and gives her a soul food to the boob, followed by a back kick to the face. Willow has had enough. She digs deep, and with every ounce of her strength that she has, she demolishes Julia Hart with a stiff lariat. Both wrestlers collapse down to the mat. The ref is counting, but neither wrestler are getting to their feet quickly. Julia is grabbing at her chest, grimacing in pain. Willow is doing just as bad and trying desperately to shake the sense back into her brain. I know the feeling. Willow crawls to the ropes as Julia screams once again with authority that the TBS title is hers. But when they engage in battle again, it is Willow who fires up first, and she gives Julia some spicy chops. Willow sprints in and body slams Julia into the corner, follows it up with a rough forearm, and then throws Julia out of that corner. This turns out to be a bad idea, though, as Willow gives Julia the ability to roll through, and she kicks Willow in the jaw just as the TBS champion is climbing the ropes. Willow tumbles down to the floor. Julia follows quickly and starts bashing Willow's face into the side of the ring. Julia has more painful plans for Willow, and with her arm in hand, walks Willow over to the barricade. Julia walks along the top, but Willow has seen enough. She cracks her in Hart's ribs, and then scoops her into a delayed walking vertical suplex that brings both wrestlers crashing down to the ground. Willow doesn't waste any time, though, and pushes through the pain. She boosts through the boosts from those two championships have been giving her the extra oomph that she needs to push through. And she rolls Julia Hart back into the ring. Willow sets her up in the corner and barks at the crowd, who politely bark back. Willow and those two sets of plump cheeks sprints at Julia and crumples her up with a devastating cannonball. Willow drags Julia's limp body out of the corner and goes for the pin, but the spirits inside of Julia Hart forces her body to kick out. Willow takes Julia's head and slams it into the top turnbuckle. That wakes her up straight away. Willow gets caught in her web and then gets stretched out in the tarantula. When Julia releases Willow, Willow gets her footing very quickly and hits hard onto her shoulders. Julia is activated though and elbows Willow in the face. She takes Willow down with a gorgeous tilt-a-whirl DDT that covers Willow, and covers Willow for the pin. The TBS champion is not giving up now though, and she just manages to push Julia off before the three. Yes. Joe, before Willow can do anything else, Julia captures her arm and then jumps on top of Willow's body and puts on a painful looking Manji Gatami submission. Willow just nopes the fook out of that though, strong style, and rams Julia's back into the corner turnbuckle. Julia has been quick to recover in these situations though during this match, and she does so again this time. This time, though, when Willow runs in, Julia gets both of her feet up and double stomps Willow into the canvas. Julia feels the TBS championship is in her grasp for real, and as she steadies herself on the top rope, she gestures to her waist and then flies backwards with a very beautiful moonsault that sends her face first into the feet of Willow. Willow gets Julia Hart up into the babe with the power bomb, but at the bomb part, Julia counters with a very nice Hurricane Runner into a very tight package, and Julia gets so close to winning her title back. But the hero of the locker room is so very powerful, and she kicks out at 3. No, before 3. That would still be fucked. The two wrestlers get to their feet. Willow blocks the kick from Julia, gets her up in the babe with the power bomb again, which is successful this time. And that will be the end of the battle for the TBS championship. Back of Julia's head hits hard, and Willow gets that very precious 1, 2, 3. Harley Cameron joins her tag partner in the ring, and they celebrate with a very happy crowd. Rude. You shall have. She's not here at the moment because we were having a physical altercation all the time. She's somewhere safe. You shall have gold again, Julia. I can feel it in my bones. I really can. And speaking of tag teams, we get a wonderfully lit and very passionate promo from Alex Windsor. She is talking to someone who she thinks will make the perfect tag partner. The wrestler in question is the very hard-hitting British hater herself. And she is very keen on this idea. As am I, of course. Though I did love, Riho and Windsor when they tagged together. Windsor and Hater are going to make the tag division so much more dangerous. And I cannot wait until they meet Megabad in combat. Now, back to Marina, just slightly. She assists Moxley with his gold as he joins commentary for the main event. Strongboy is taking on the CMLL champion, Helicopter Man, but we do not have to be here right now. We do not have time, Marina, for you and your facial expressions, okay? We've acknowledged you. You can't do anything. Well, you can, but, we've acknowledged, but we've got a lot to do, okay? And if you knew how many times I have been hacking up in this episode, you would understand. We've got to move on. All right. Well done. Wheel down or up or sideways, kind of depending on where you're situated in the world to Austin, Texas, for the next chapter of our dear adventures. Vert Vixen is here. And she has a proving ground match against the Fallen Goddess, the Minion Overlord, the American Joshi, your forever ROH World Champion for 1,000, and I've updated it 152 days. Athena, a proving ground match, if you need clarification, gives any challenger the opportunity to prove herself worthy of a title shot by defeating the champion or surviving the 10-minute time limit. The absolutely amazing, outstanding, talented, and ruthless ROH World Champion comes out to the applause of the crowd. Athena twirls and struts her way down to the ramp, basking in the adoration from the home crowd, maybe home crowd, definitely home state crowd. Athena explodes into the ring and battle cries from the depths. Our world champion completes her battle entrance, posing with her very sexy world championship belt, probably my favorite at the moment. The world champion is in some new gear and has like, gold overall, but there's some blue and some red and some purples and then like some pinks and like everything kind of like paneled around and like seemingly random places, but with like black lace as well, tying everything together. Very cool. Vert Vixen is in white, purple, and black battle gear, all sparkly very appropriately. All sparkled very appropriately, she should say. Athena extends her hand in a like very snobby Duchess way that is very much tradition of our Forever Champ. Vert Vixen humors her, bless. Vid Vixen goes straight for Athena, though, who is doing the same, and they collide very heavily in the ring. Athena quickly engages Matt wrestle mode and gets the upper hand on Vid Vixen, and she sends her into the ropes. Athena stands strong in the middle of the ring, flexing with the confidence of the world champion, and calls forth Vid Vixen so they may re-engage in battle. Vid Vixen gathers some crowd power, little hometown crowd power as well, and locks up with the world champion again. Very quickly, Athena takes Vixen by the neck and starts squeezing on it, bringing Vixen down to the mat. Vixen doesn't allow this to overcome her, though, and uses her strong legs to push herself back to her feet. Oh, it's so nice having comments back again. The Forever Champ reforms a plan and runs towards the ropes, bringing Vixen with her, still by the head. Athena uses the ropes to merry-go-round and boost the side of the headlock takeover. And Vixen has no choice but to go wherever Athena flings her. Athena gets very cheeky, and you thought it was better with comments. It's getting worse because I acknowledged it. Oh my God, it's all coming out of itself. Athena gets very cheeky and taunts Vert Vixen to lure her in, of course, but that backfires when Vert Vixen takes Athena down with a shoulder tackle. And now it is she who is doing the taunting. Both get speedy, but it's Vert Vixen who gets Athena down with a sliding toe trip that forces Athena face first into the mat. A snappy suplex sends the Forever Champ into the corner, but Vert Vixen takes a moment to connect with her fans, which I don't think is the wisest move at this time, but I was wrong. Vert Vixen missiles her boot straight through Athena's skull. The ROH champion activates and disorientates Vixen into a lung blower. As Vert Vixen checks her jaw, the fallen goddess gives her a very stiff kick to the back. Athena continues to stalk Vixen and hits down with the forearm to the exact same spot on her back. Mischievous Athena humiliates Vert Vixen more by pulling on her mouth, forcing it into a very uncomfortable smile. The wrath does not let her get away with it for long and starts counting to 5 immediately. Athena continues to be a little shit though and grabs Vixen by the nose, pulls her up to her feet, and then smacks her back to the mat, almost completely ripping off her nose. But at least she didn't actually manage losing her nose. She did actually, though, manage bleeding out of that nose. So, it was close. Athena has a very happy smile on her face, and she holds up her hand to show the blood on her fingers. Vert Vixen has been busted open. And seeing her own blood, Vixen gets activated and gives Athena some surprise shots to the midsection. Vert grabs Athena's arms and brings it with her as she rolls Athena all over the mat, tying her up in a very good pin that Athena gets out of by continuing the momentum and rolling Vert Vixen onto her own shoulders. Vixen kicks out at two, and both wrestlers get to their feet straight away. They engage in quick battle until Athena twists herself around Vixen and glumps her in the back. Oh, glumps her in a back suplex, slamming Vixen heavily down onto the mat. Vert gets her head kicked in by the fallen goddess, and then she gets rocked again by a brutal elbow. Vixen is tough as fuck, though, and she kicks out of that pin at two. Vixen holds her fist high in the air, pulling in from the fans as much of a power boost as she can. Athena is scheming and decides to go back to the bloody nose of Vixen. Athena grabs her head and knees Vixen in the face 4 times and then chokes her, which is very smart on an opponent with an obstructed airways. Vixen fights through the predicament and manages to finally get back up to her feet. She gets Athena off of her and avoids the retaliation at the most perfect moment. Athena ends up sending herself face first into the middle turnbuckle at a sickening speed. Athena slumps down onto the mat, and the expression on Vixen's face is that of someone who is in a very brutal battle. Like I am in a very brutal battle against my brain and reading words. But enough about me. Despite them both being bollocks from battle, Athena and Vixen burst into action again. Vixen impresses me with a very, perfect baseball slide that helps her avoid the corner, and she spins herself around to land a kick right in Athena's face. Vixen battle cries and fights through the pain. She takes Athena off of her feet and knocks her a little bit loopy. Vixen is fired up and wants more from the crowd so she can get everything behind her for this next move. Athena is still stumbling on her feet and cannot get out of the way of the lovely springboard enziguri coming her way. Athena recovers slowly and fights back with a Kozadora into a something, but we don't know what that is because Vixen blocks all of that with a blue thunder bomb and puts the pin on the world champion. She almost gets that 3, but Athena just manages to kick out. When the action starts again, Athena lifts Vixen up and out of the ring. Vixen falls all the way down to the ground, which gives Athena tope ideas. Athena lines up and takes off for flight, but as she dives through the ropes, Vert has her already lined up and kicks Athena straight out of the air. Vixen takes a moment to inspect the crowd, but this time it does turn out bad for her. And by the time she turns back around and put her attention back onto Athena, the Forever Champ has recovered and drives her backwards, slamming her heavily into that real solid LED barricade. Athena is activated 10 times over now and is raging mad. She throws Vixen into both steel stairs before rolling her into the ring. Athena pounds down on Vixen with closed fists that the ref warns her about and gets an earful back from the Forever Champ, the Forever Ever Champ. Anyway, for daring to tell her what to do, Athena goes back to Vixen and takes her down with a that very, very cool ripcord flatliner into the Koji clutch. Vixen tries real hard to fight out of that, but eventually she must tap. To make her pay more for daring to be so good, Athena keeps the Koji clutch on way past the bell, until she finally feels like letting go. After the match, Vixen extends her hand to complete the Ring of Honor traditions. And I was surprised that she actually did, but after some contemplation, the Forever Champ extended her own hand. She did not let go, though. And all of a sudden, sprinting down is a Diamante and a Billy Starks, no relation, and they're in the ring taking Vixen out. Is there anyone in the back who is going to save Vixen right now from this, absolute beating? Well, yes, High in Maya World are sprinting down to the ring in a flurry of blue and white and red. Athena, Billy, and Diamante split. but they hang out at the entrance ramp, staring, plotting, always staring, always plotting. Moving on, we find out from a dear Mr. Carly Bravo who his big boo is. May I say his tall drink of water. She is a Christian, but she is a Christian. Is it Christian? Christian. It's not Christian. It's Christian. XO. He is introducing him to the amazing Captain Sean Dean and the Afro punk Trish Adora. The excited and, bless him, very in love Bravo brings them both around, to letting her join the family. It was actually quite sweet and very adorable. And a little dorky. And I really loved it. I really, really loved it. Of course, Trish was just like, I don't know, I don't know. But the captain was like, come on, look at Carly. He's so happy. And if he's happy, she's giant. It's going to be like helpful. She is a tall drink of water. Bless. Fucking love that team. So yeah, we'll be able to get to see what's happening more there. So yeah, Christian XO. Ooh. Right. We are heading over to Dynamite now. All right. You ready? And by the time we get over there, it is all about the world champion and Tekla. Blood is already in my eyes, for it is Tekla. The Triangle of Madness appear on the entrance ramp as the music of Tekla explodes in the arena. The Sisters of Sin are my besties, like, gotta be by now. They look incredibly badass. I mean, the personal favorite dressing in all black. And they hold their position as Tekla stomps the stage, filling the whole arena with her infectious energy. She joins Blue and Heart, and the fire erupts on either side of the Triangle of Madness. She shares the look with Julia Hart, and then with poison in her veins, Tekla makes her way to the ring. Tekla is in her neon green and black battle gear and her long black coat with the red toxic spider on the back. A chocolate toxic spider. Ow! Tekla completes her cool as fuck battle entrance on the ropes under the spotlight, looking absolutely bad. And the lights go up, and the opening riffs of our world champions music hits. Stat comes out with her world title held high, dressed for battle in blue and sparkled up the wazoo. As soon as Stat and Tekla lock eyes in the ring, they do not leave each other. The bell rings and the two wrestlers walk straight up to each other, and to my surprise, Tekla extends her hand. Cautiously and slowly, Stat extends hers. But at the last moment, Tekla recoils her hand and mocks the world champion. Then all of a sudden, Tekla just slaps the living shit out of Chris. Stat stares daggers directly through Tekla and walks up on her, but Tekla nopes the fuck out of that, and she gets out of the ring before Stat Daddy can get her hands on her. Tekla takes her time getting back into the ring, making sure Stat is far away before stepping through the ropes. The battle begins for real this time, with Tekla ducking the very fast lariat from the world champion. She doesn't avoid the chop to the chest, though, and Stat whips Tekla into the ropes. Now, Ropes and Tekla are very good friends, for real, and they catch her perfectly. Tekla hangs sideways and then drops her torso, so she hangs upside down and taunts Stat. It works brilliantly as the world champion runs at Tekla. Tekla engages steel ab mode, and Chris goes sliding through the ropes. Chris recovers her footing fast, though, and grabs hold of Tekla, pulls her through the ropes, and breaks her in half with a step-up guillotine leg drop. We get a celebratory gun show from the world champion as Tekla tumbles to the floor. A very considerate Chris Statlander helps Tekla to her feet and brings her to the perfect position for an extremely delayed vertical suplex onto the floor. Stat absorbs her part in it like a literal champ. That she is, and quickly rolls into the ring to break the count that was going on very rudely by the referee. The champion is back out very quickly onto the floor, and because she's got business to do, and brings Tickler to her feet by her hair. Tickler goes for a kick, but her leg gets caught by Stat. And before she can even think, Chris catapults Tickler face first into the steel steps. See? No more kicking her from the front. Stat basks in her glory, rolls Tickler back into the ring, and basks again. That second one, though, was an extremely bad idea because Tickler's recovery time. Oh, Tickler had enough time to recover and runs a stiff boot straight through Stat's head, and she goes flying off the apron. Tickler is polite, though. She allows the world champion to have some time to get to her feet before jumping down on her back with a double stomp. The ref chooses this point to believe that things have gone too far, and he puts them out on, oh, and he calls them out on shenanigans while he's checking in on Stat. Tickler don't mind though. She takes the time to admire her work and catch her breath. She obeys the ref when he barks at her to get inside the ring. But once that kindness is done, Tickler goes back out the ring and whips Statlander into the steel steps. Chris hits the steps with her thigh and goes tumbling over the steps. Ooh, I don't know what was worse, the tumble over or the actual hitting. As Tickler manhandles the world champion some more and flings her into the steel barricade, Excalibur again brings up Tickler's firing from stardom. He just can't let it go, can he? Jesus. Now, I've said this before sometime long ago, I don't know, but Tickler didn't do anything wrong. As attacking Okada Taro was very justified, in my opinion. So her match was against Sayako Kurara, okay? And if Tickler won, she would finally get her hands on Okada in a match. If she lost, though, she did have to leave Hate and join the Cosmic Angels, which, if you know anything about that, you know it's not really on the top of Tickler's, wants list. So Tickler lost. Personally, I think she had way too much of her concentration on Okada. I think that was why she lost. She'd been paying more attention, she probably wouldn't have won. And none of this would have happened. But everyone would have had her okay? And Okada just had to rub in her loss. So Tickler got hands on Okada Taro like she wanted. And he just fired her on the spot right there. Completely unjustified. Well, Tickler, completely justified. Okada, completely unjustified. Tickler decides to roll Stat back into the ring as the ref has insisted on trying to count them out. Tickler goes for a few pins on Stat, but she kicks out of all of them. Before Stat can get back to her feet, Tickler stomps on her back multiple times and Chris crumbles down again. Tickler jumps on her back and twists the head of Stat in painful angles, making her involuntarily cry out in agony. Tickler continues to beat down on the world champion and gives her a nasty kick to the back. Tickler plays around with Stat a bit more before stretching her out into a submission. Tickler pulls on either side of Stat's mouth for added fun in the lockjaw, but the ref is not, and she must end all this completely. Tickler and the ref have a few words with each other, and this distraction gives Stat the perfect opening to forearm her in the face. Tickler is knocked loopy, but she still forms a plan and lures Stat into her web. Tickler captures Stat's head and then hangs backwards off the ropes, putting immense pressure on Stat's neck with her Jirogumo. She only has until the ref gets to 5, but it does the damage. Tickler usually then releases her legs in a spider way, but instead of being able to do this, Chris powers through the choke and holds on to Tickler's legs. Tickler cannot get away, and Chris makes her pay by giving Tickler an Alabama slammer into the top turnbuckle. This woman in her catapult says she's dangerous. Chris is still feeling the effects from that lockjaw earlier, and she adjusts it real quick. calls upon the fans to give her their power, and Stat runs a train of pain right through Tekla. Stat brings the dazed Tekla into the middle of the ring, slams her through it with a lovely fisherman's driver. Chris holds Tekla down for the three, but Tekla kicks out at two. Tekla is not doing great, but when Chris hoists her up onto his shoulders, she senses danger and engages kicky feet to get her out of it. A quick guillotine over the top rope gives Tekla the advantage. She battle cries and then gives Stat a brutal kick to the side of the face. There are a few toxic fans in the crowd who cheer on the dastardly deeds. She takes a moment to bask, but the hesitation becomes her undoing. Tekla climbs the ropes to fly at Stat, but Chris sidesteps the move. Tekla lands on her feet, but Chris nails her with a powerful running lariat. Chris drags Tickler's body over to the same spot she flew off and sets her up in front of it. Stat basks in her champion glory as the crowd cheer her on. Stat must be feeling some sort of heaviness in her body still, though, because she is really slow to get up to the top rope. Tickler manages to recover, and in an instant, she slaps the world champion, causing her to stumble. Tickler climbs up to join her, and after some fighting words, gives Stat a stiff forearm to that already very painful jaw. Whilst Taz laments about him having balls, Tickler scoops up the world champion and sends her soaring over her head with the spider suplex. Stat lands on the mat with a painful thud. Black Widow Jones, sidebar, so happy Taz is back, basks in the glory of magnificence as Chris rolls quietly out of the ring. Tickler spies her and positions herself more steadily on the top rope and then launches herself at Stat with a very fantastic diving crossbody to the floor. Tickler gets to her feet and unleashes a battle cry from the depths and bangs down on the announcer's desk to wake them up a little bit. Tickler rolls Stat back into the ring as the crowd chant out Tickler's name. She goes for the pin, but before she can even cover Chris properly, Stat kicks out at one. Tickler winds up the stomp, a move that has given her the win over Stat before. But Chris has evolved and gets out of the way of all of that. Stat comes back at Tickler, running off the ropes, and then she runs straight into a short, stiff spear from Tickler. Both wrestlers are down, and the crowd are going nuts. They get on all fours and meet face to face. They exchange stiff forearms and battle to their feet. Chris gives Tickler some shit, and Tickler loses 2 points for spitting. Can't do anything about that one, sorry. Tickler runs the ropes and then glomps on the octopus stretch for two Chris Statlander right in the middle of the ring. The world champion is down to one knee, and the crowd are losing their minds. Tickler switches up her position and wrenches back hard on the right arm of Statlander, almost pulling it off completely. Statlander, bent over, cradling her arm, when all of a sudden Tickler stomps her face into the mat. Chris is laid out flat, but still manages to power out of the pin before three. This does not give her the win this time. Tickler rages out and engages spider mode, staring Chris down as she tries to get to her feet. As Stat does, Tickler runs at her full speed for the spear, but instead of connecting with Stat's body, she connects with her boot, and Tickler stops in her tracks. Stat wastes no time. She knows she has to act fast and flips Tickler upside down for Saturday Night Fever. With all the blood rushing to Tickler's brain, she instantly attempts to counter out of it, and with the power of wriggles, Tickler gets out of Stat's grasp, rolls her up for a pin. But Stat explodes out of it and instantly runs at Tickler with the lariat. Tickler is super focused through, though, and matrix out of the way. Tickler unleashes a furious battle cry from the absolute depths and goes for the spear, but the incredibly powerful world champion yoinks her mid-spear, deadlifts Tickler up in a gut-wrench powerbomb, then without hesitation nails Tickler into the mat with a very successful Diva. The entire crowd chants along with the ref, and Stat gets the 1, 2, 3 on the toxic spider. Holly Cameron and Willow Nightingale comes down to the ring to celebrate with their friend, the world champion, and Chris Statlander. Tickler rolls out of the ring to avoid any kind of revenge that may be coming their way. And then all of a sudden, two more badass wrestlers come and join the celebration from a distance from the entrance ramp. Megabad are here, and they are both just being the kindest people in the entire world. Just, I mean, thanks, guys. 2026. I couldn't ask for anything more than me. Personal favorite dressing and all. Looking fabulous. They stare down the entrance ramp at the tag champions, not saying anything, but saying everything they needed to just with their combined stares. The tag champions finally notice them and look awkwardly back. They know that they're going to have to face Megabad very, very soon. They want those titles. And that was it for Dynamite 2. So, just the promo from the Cosmic Babes of Wrath at the beginning and the world title match. That was it. Could have been weather related, you never know. But anyway, boo! All women's wrestling. I mean, it kind of helps for this episode because holy moly, this episode, but in future, boo! The magical, timeless Tony Storm had a wonderful intergender match with Orange Cassidy against Gino Medina and a Ladybird Monroe. Very quickly, they are also hometown wrestlers, with Ladybird currently holding 3 titles. Ladybird has the ROW Women's Championship for Reality of Wrestling, the AAPW Women's Championship for America's Academy of Pro Wrestling, and she also has the Women's Tag Championship for ROW. It was a gorgeous match. It was absolutely brilliant and campy, fun, the whole thing. And I hope we get more of these kinds of matches. It was brilliant. We must move on, but I do recommend you watching that match. And just had to give a little shout out to a new face on the block, Miss Ladybird Monroe. We have a tag match against the world champions Sin as our main event, but we have to start winding this down. The Sisters of Sin did not get the win. And straight afterwards, though, brutal carnage just invade the ring as Tekla comes out to help give a beatdown to the Babes of Wrath because Sisters of Sin were not having any of that. The world champion is also in the building and she runs down to the ring to get involved as well. Her and Tekla instantly begin battling it out again, almost as if they were in the exact same episode of Don't Call Me Diva and had just been doing that. Stat tries to fight them all off, but with the entire of Triangle of Madness on her, she finds it very difficult. And then all of a sudden, the amazing Megabad are also in the building and dressed for battle, I have to say as well. When they hear that a beatdown is going down on the world champion in the ring, they come out to join. They, like I say, are dressed in battle. And with the numbers on their side, they help dominate the Cosmic Babes of Wrath. We end the collision with 8 of the baddest babes in wrestling, 5 of them standing victorious over their enemies, and 3 of them down on the mat in a heap. We're going to talk about that next week, like the actual matchy match next week. And then we will be able to then also talk about what happened with the fallout from that little beatdown at the end, because woo, that was something. Marina Shafir gets involved. Oh, that was awesome. That was very cool. So yeah, it was nice to see women's carnage ending Collision, considering Dynamite. But we already had a very full episode in. We already have a full episode in this episode right now. Yeah, that works. And with all of this going on, we need to end. So, what are your thoughts on this week's discussion of insanity? If you show wish, you can leave them in comments. in the appropriate little sections of wherever you may be. I would be very grateful. And if you would be so kind while you're there as to like and subscribe, that would also be lovely. Thank you very much. If you so wish, you can find me lurking threads at Bix_Bestie, under a tree at Blue Sky Bix-Bestie. You can follow the amazing Shane, my excellent producer, has had to do a lot of work today. You can go check out all of his awesome other media on the Ethos Media Network, and how he turns all of this into something that you watch is genius in itself. Join us at sickosclub.com and at Sickos Club on Threads. You have never met a more inclusive, smart, talented bunch of silly sausages who also happen to really love wrestling. This was Don't Call Me Diva. Women's Wrestling Rules. Don't be a dick.